What is up, YouTube? I'm back with another how-to and install guide for the 2023 Subaru VB WRX. Today we're going to be working on some interior pieces, so let's have a look at what we got. First up, we'll be installing the Cobb shifter stop. This is to stop any slop in first and second gear. Next, from SMY in the US, we've got this STI trim piece for the steering wheel. Also from SMY, we've got a STI push button start piece. Not the full button, just the cover. So we'll see how we go getting that on. Additionally, from Andro Motorsports here in Australia, we've got some carbon fibre goodies. These pieces here will be for the steering wheel, and these pieces here will be for the dash. So let's get the car open and start installing some pieces. So first up, we're going to start with the Cobb short shifter stop. This is to stop any harsh movements within first and second gear. As you can see, there's quite a bit of slop going from side to side in first and second, and that plate should hopefully stop that. To do this, we're just going to undo the gear lever. Get around the sides and just pull up on this trim piece. Should pop right out. Just grab it on the sides and it should just pop right out like that. And there comes the entire gearbox piece. So that slot comes in first from here. This stop on this side is for your reverse lockout, but it also prevents too much slop in 5th and 6th. So what we're going to do is we're just going to remove these two nuts here, as Cobb has supplied hardware that fits in that slot. So I've just grabbed all the Cobb supplied hardware. There's these two threaded rods which will go into that area, and then a couple of nuts and washers to secure it in place. But first, to get these out, now what I'll do is I'll grab two supplied threads from Cobb and thread them in. There we go, they're bottomed out. Now Cobb has actually supplied two types of nuts here, so let me just double check their install. So looking at the Cobb procedure, we'll take the thinner of the two nuts and thread that down. This will hold our reverse lockout in place and prevent movement for that. Prior to tightening this down, I am just going to thread this back on briefly and just check I can get into first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. So I want that to be roughly there. Quickly tighten those down. Before going too much further, I'll just quickly test. First, second, third, fourth. I can still make it into fifth and sixth. And reverse. So I'll go ahead and finish tightening those down. Now, the Cobb has slots underneath it for where these screws should line up, and that'll allow it to slide freely. I'll then take the other nuts and a washer from Cobb and slot over I'll only tighten these down slightly, as we'll still need to test where first and second gear are. So that's first there, so I can slide this front bit in, tighten that down further. And second sits there, so I'll slot that in there. Just quickly tighten them down a bit further. Prior to squaring this away, let's give it a go. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, reverse. Now you can see no more play in first and second. I'll go ahead and get this finalized and we'll move on to the next mod. So the second mod I've got is an STI push start button to replace the standard engine start stop button. I'll follow the instructions from SMY and see how we go. So the SMY kit comes with the STI button, literally just a clip-on button, and a pull ring to help pry the existing one out. Everything I've seen, we've got a couple of tabs that we need to try and loosen up by sliding in the back with this pull tab. So we should be able to come in from the front and loosen that off. I have already disconnected the battery prior to doing this, so see how we go. So I have managed to get the entire button assembly out. This will help me pry off this external ring, which will then hopefully help us get further in. I'll say one thing, SMY definitely made this look a hell of a lot easier. That's just separated out the button and the outer ring. Thankfully it doesn't look like there's too much damage to the outer ring. And the button has come free finally, along with the piece that got stuck in there. Now just before I swap it over, swap this light into the housing. Push the switch back in. Looking pretty good now. There we go. So we'll go put this back in the car now. So all I did to get the button out in the first place was pull the cover off the fuse box area, and you can reach in behind and push the button out. All I'll need to do now is just reconnect it in, push it back into place, and there we go. STI start button for the WRX. Next piece I'm going to change out is this WRX logo on the bottom. All I can feel is it probably doesn't even need too much persuading. Might just need to get some pry tools under there. So this is the STI trim piece. Try and keep the camera stable. This is the STI trim piece. This will fit right here on the steering wheel. It's got 3 little tabs on it, so hopefully we can pry these out pretty easily. It's one. Does that actually sit up underneath? Yeah, I think it might do. And that's just released like that. So there we go, we have the WRX with a carbon fibre look and the STI with a piano black look. I'll just slot this back up underneath. That's square. And push in, and that took me about a minute and a half. That was much easier than I thought it was. This piece is only available on the TS model in Australia, which is automatic only and the top of the line. So this is a good little upgrade to my base model. But we're not done yet. We have these carbon fibre trim pieces for the steering wheel, courtesy of Andro Motorsport. So these will fit straight over the existing steering wheel like so. Unfortunately, we don't have the buttons on this side, so that does look a little out of place. This side will fit on just like that. And we do have one that'll fit straight over and keep that STI logo. These pieces have already had their 3M tape applied, but included in the kit is a 3M primer and an alcohol wipe to prep the surfaces. So unfortunately my camera overheated whilst working on the interior of the car, thanks to it being a 30-odd degree day here in Perth. However, I did manage to get everything achieved, so I'll give you a quick look. On the passenger side here, we've got another carbon fibre trim piece that went in. And on the driver's side, we've got the steering wheel with the STI conversion, STI starter button conversion, and another carbon fibre trim piece. All these carbon fibre trim pieces were courtesy of Andro Motorsport here in Australia. They're based in Sydney. Give him a shout if you ever want any. I've given the car a quick run through, make sure all the gear selection works and everything, and yeah, it drives like a dream now. So that's probably all there will be for this video. I do have some more parts to install and I've got plenty more on the way. So make sure you're subscribed and I'll see you in the next video.